Okay, moving on to 6.7. Question 1. One cube is 8 times as large as the other cube. So we can let the first cube, the smaller one, just be a very easy one, just having a side length of 1. The other cube is 8 times as large as the other cube. So I would assume that they mean the volume. They didn't say the volume is 8 times as large, but that's probably what they are saying. So the reason why I know is because they are asking us how much longer are the sides of the larger cube compared to the side length of the smaller cube. Okay, so this volume is 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. This volume is 8 times bigger, so it's going to be 8. Now we can let each side length be x. So we can say x to the power 3, just x times x times x equals to 8. To find x, we can just take the cubic root on both sides, and we get x equals to 2, right? Right? Remember, the volume of a cube is side length times side length times side length. So in this case, it's x times x times x. That's why I have x to the power 3. So now we can compare the side length. The side length is just twice as long. The larger cube is twice as long. Question 2. A cube is triple in length, double in width, and half in height. What effect do the changes have on volume of the cube? So again, we'll just let the original cube be a very simple one, just a 1 by 1 by 1. So the volume here will just be 1. We are going to triple the length. So double the width, triple the length. So instead of 1, it becomes 2. And this is tripling the length, this will become 3. And they are going to half the height. So that's 3, and then the height is going to be 0.5. So now we can find the new volume. The new volume will just be length times width times height. And we get 3. So we can say the volume is 3 times as large. Question 3. Rectangular solid has a volume of 2058 centimeter cube. The length, width, and height of the solid has a ratio of 3 to 2 to 1. Okay. So length, width, length is 3, the width is 2, and the height is just 1. So, we don't know what it is. We'll just let it be 3x, 2x, and 1x. So that would fit the ratio criteria of having a length to width to height of 3 to 2 to 1. Determine the length of the rectangular solid. So again, the volume will just be length times width times height. And we were told that this equals to 2058. So we have 6x to the power 3 equals to 2058. We can divide both sides by 6 to get x to the power 3 equals 343. And now we can take the cubic root on both sides. We should get x equals to 7. We are not finished yet. The length is 3 times x, and x is 7. So the length is 21. This is 21 centimeter. Question 4. A 2x4 is a piece of wood that begins with a measure of 2x4 times the length. But the drying process and planing of the board reduce it to the finish 1 and 5/8, 3 and 5/8, and L size, what percent of the wood is lost in the drying and planning process? So we can first let L equals to 1, then the original volume is going to be 2 times 4 times 1. We get 8. And then the new volume is 1 and 5/8 times 3 and 5/8 times 1. So you can use a calculator to help you for this word problem. So you should know how to type in the mixed fraction already. I'm going to show you one more time. So the mixed fractional button is the yellow one right there. So you go to shift and then press that. Now you have 1 to the right, 5 to the right, 8 to the right times mixed fractional button again. 3, move to the right, 5, move to the right, and then 8. And then times 1 is meaningless, but you can type that in too. So you will get yeah, we can keep it as a fraction. We'll get 377 over 64. So 377 over 64. And then now we can say that the amount lost is going to be 8 minus 377 over 64. So we get 135 over 64. They want you to change that into percent. So percent loss is going to be 135 over 64 divided by the original is 8, and then times 100%. So just using my calculator for all these calculations, and you should get 26.4%. Therefore, 26.4% of this wood is lost from the drying process. Okay, question 5. Cube has a surface area of 150. Find its volume. So we have a cube. Each side length will just be x. If you still remember, the surface area of a cube is just 6 times the area of one face. The area of one face will just be x squared, just x times x. And you have 6 faces, right? So this surface area is 150. You have 150 equals to 6x squared. Now we can divide both sides by 6, and we get x squared equals 25. And we square root both sides to get x equals to 5. Now you can draw the cube again, and this time you know that the side length are all 5. Just asking for the volume. The volume will be width times length times height, or just the side length times itself 3 times. And we should get 125 centimeter cube. Question 6. A sphere is like a basketball or volleyball. This is the radius. You need to know that the volume of a sphere is 4 over 3 pi r to the power 3. So we were told that this volume is 288 pi. So I can cross multiply the 3 and then divide both sides by 4 pi. We can cross that out. You should have r to the power 3 equals. So we can cross out the pi here too. So I'm just going to type in 288 times 3 divided by 4. And I get 216. Now we can take the cube equal on both sides. We get r equals to 6. The question is asking for the diameter. Diameter is 2 times the radius. So diameter is 2 times 6. The diameter equals to 12. And this is in centimeter. Okay, so that's it for question 1 to 6. I will see you in the next video to go over 7 to 12. See you soon.